He always tells me that.
Smile.
What a fabulous day. We're at the 2015 biannual convention for the denomination called the Assemblies of God. And a couple years ago, I was at the church in Missouri. I was just on a tour. I don't know what else to call it except that the pastor of the church, Mike Perky, and I have been best friends for decades. But it was another church. No, that is not being derogatory. You have to understand, I've done thousands of churches. But which one is God going to do a huge miracle out of? You just never know. And I'm here with Mike and Laurie and Dan Dang, and I want their story of what happened to be told. Are you ready for something beautiful? Watch this. Mike, give me some background and let the folks know what happened on that Sunday with Mike Perky and this beautiful wife of yours.
I sure will.
You can hold the mic.
Oh,
Go ahead and take
okay.
it.
Lori and I live in Kansas City, Kansas, and we were living in Leawood at the time. But a friend of mine had been telling me about a guy that was a minister by the name of Dave Roever. He had a video of yours, and for a year he had been asking Lori and I to come over and watch this video, and I kept kind of putting him off. I said, Randy, I don't really want to hear about any more trauma, because I spent a couple years there in the 60s, and so then one day he called me and he said, hey, Mike, remember that guy I've been telling you about, Dave Roever? I said, yeah. He said, he's going to be in town this weekend. He's going to be at Mike Perky's church this Sunday. Why don't you go listen to him? And I said, all right, we will. And I'll tell you what, it transformed our lives. It transformed our ministry. I didn't hear about trauma. I heard about God, country, and freedom, and family. And you said something, Dave, there that impacted me, will impact me the rest of my life. You said, if you don't have anything worth dying for, maybe you ain't got anything worth living for. You said, I was willing to die for my country. I'm willing to die for my family, and I'm willing to die for Jesus Christ. What are you willing to die for? And I tell you what, it touched my heart. And I went and we got your book and you signed them, but there was a big line of people waiting. And you said, welcome home. And I thanked you for that, and I welcomed you home. But then you sent me to the booth, and we talked to a fella, and I said, I'd like to learn more about your Vietnamese ministry, because I was there for 3 years, and I'm fluent in Vietnamese. And so the guy said, call this fella. And Tuesday, after Memorial Day, this was a year ago, this last May, and I called Pastor Dang, and he wanted me to give him a bio, and I said, it's too much to put in writing. He said, come down to our pastor's conference and tell me about it then. Yeah. So we went down there last October, and this last March, Lori and I went to Vietnam and talked about Jesus. And we're just so excited about that. It's transformed our ministry. And we now are ministering to veterans and Vietnamese. We go to a Vietnamese church in Kansas City, and praise the Lord. Pastor Dang.
Dad, this is amazing. This is God thing, and they came to Vietnam with us in March, and it's unbelievable. They can sing in Vietnamese, amazing right in Vietnamese. And Vietnamese people love them. They love them so much.
Well, it's no accident that Dan and I met. For the people watching this, it's one of the most unique book of Acts continuation I've ever come across. When Dan, at the end, was 15 years old, he told his father, having heard me preach at a bombed-out school in Da Nang before the communists took it, and the Americans were long since gone. I made a statement to some 500 kids, and I don't know exact numbers, we didn't count. I made this statement. I came the first time to Vietnam with an M16. Today I come back with a John 3:16. And he knew what I meant. And this guy told his father, I'm going to follow in Mr. Roever's footsteps. And his dad jokingly said, you're going to get in his suitcase? How are you going to get home with it? Well, here at the 2015 convention of the denomination of the Assemblies of God, I celebrate how many years we've been together in America?
From 1991.
From 91 to now. You do the math. Where anything over 2 plus 2 gets beyond my control. I tell everybody I was in the top 10% of the lower 1/3 of my class. But here's what happened. They became boat people. They ended up in the South China Sea. A Navy ship from the United States of America picked them up. They ended up immigrating out of Guam through Omaha, Nebraska. And when they were giving jobs, opportunities, Tandy Corporation hired him. Tandy Corporation is in Fort Worth. I live in Fort Worth. They assigned him many Radio Shacks. One of them was on my parking lot. I walk in, he says, I know who you are. I said, who are you? He said, I'm Dan Dang, and I told my father I follow in your footsteps. I said, you did a good job. Right there's my office. He didn't even know I was there. I didn't even know who he was. But God had a plan. And today, you are beneficiaries of God and the obedience of a gentleman that would not be denied. And in all of this, the miracle puts us here. 40,000 students, or God knows only how many students, are online learning the gospel through Vietnamese language. You guys are going, oh, I talk too much. But I am so glad you came. We're at our booth right here, the 2015 anniversary, not 2015 anniversaries, that'd be pretty old, wouldn't it? But at the 2015 advertising for the Assemblies of God through Global University, our partner in ministry. Thank you so much. God bless you.